There's only one man who can survive the creature from It Follows. Take a look.
With auburn hair and tawny eyes, the kind of eyes that hypnotize me in the room. You hypnotize me in the room. And I ran so far away. I just ran all night and day. I couldn't get away.
I just felt like running.
It Follows, the most buzzworthy horror movie of the season. Very basic concept. You have this girl, she has sex with her boyfriend, and he gives her this sexually transmitted demon, for lack of a better word. It's basically like Ring with chlamydia. And now she has to go and give it to somebody else, or she's gonna die. We don't know what it is. We just know it takes the form of a human who wears like little to no clothing, you know, very typically just like a boob hanging out, or naked, or underwear, and they kind of just walk at 2 miles an hour, and that's it. They just walk at you. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. First and foremost, the pros. This movie is all about style, and if that's what you're looking for in a movie, this one's for you. It uses the synthesizer sound and the score that is reminiscent of horror movies from the late 70s and early 80s, much like Halloween or A Nightmare on Elm Street. Also, cinematography is amazing for the typical horror movie. It conveys horror and isolation in using extreme wide shots. Most horror movies of this genre kind of zoom in on the blood and gore, while this one actually challenges you to kind of view the whole screen and find the Waldo, also known as It, that may be coming. And thirdly is the acting combined with the written dialogue. Despite it being slow and lackluster at times, it felt authentic and more realistic for a group of teenagers. The problem with most horror films today is that the teenagers used are such terrible actors that it pulls you straight out of the movie. This one didn't do that. Now, let's talk about the cons. First and foremost is the plot. The pitch is fairly interesting, I'll admit. It raises a fairly good question of what are they going to do. However, the payoff never really comes in the way that you want it to, so for many of yours, it's going to leave you disappointed and frustrated. If you click here, you'll find there's going to be a link for everything that is my interpretation of the film. It's an end and explain video. It has tons of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, don't click on it quite yet. However, this video is not that, and just to put it for people who don't want to be spoiled, it's basically like a puzzle that doesn't give you all the pieces that you need to see the full picture, but you can kind of guess what it might be. I think the reason for this was that because the filmmakers felt like this would make the film scarier because of its ambiguity. I'll admit I enjoyed the film It Follows while I was watching it, but in the third act it kind of lost its steam, and as a whole, it took me a day to try to figure out if I actually liked the movie or not. Currently on Rotten Tomatoes, critics hail it as a masterpiece, giving it a 95%, while audience members give it a lower and more accurate grade of 70%. I did feel like it was a little bit overshadowed by the critic reviews that have been coming out, but is it better than most movies that came out in recent years, like these slew of films? Absolutely. But is it the masterpiece that they're making it out to be? No way. Just because you're used to something that's kind of shitty doesn't mean you should overpraise something for being above average. Those who are tired of seeing massive amounts of blood and gore and a constant overuse of jump scares will appreciate a film that has that old school indie type of look, using simplistic ways without the CGI and today's modern ways. And for that reason, I give this movie a B-. I'll give it a B. Barely. B-. I'm sticking to it. B-. It's overrated. I'm sorry. It's not great. I enjoyed it while I watched it. Great acting. Really cool to see some old school 80s music thrown in there with the synthesizers and stuff like that. But I mean, that kind of got old after a while. But for the most part, it was a good movie, but it wasn't a great movie. Anyway, I've been watching Brew's Reviews. Be sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Maybe you got a theory you want to share on the comments down below. I'd love to hear any feedback, what you might think. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Or were you like me, where you kind of were like, yeah, it's got its good points, and it's got its kind of weak points and plot holes. Yeah, so let me know, and as always, thank you so much for watching, because you just got burned.